All right, we need to talk about the latest patch notes for Season 1 of Diablo 4. First things first, there are some new uniques added to the game. The first one is this unique staff, an uber unique that gives you a random shrine effect when you kill an elite enemy. It's almost a little bit like a headhunter from PoE. Additionally, we had the overall XP nerfed as well, going from 25% down to 15% for monsters over level 10, and much more severe for levels 1 and 2 above it. And lastly, we saw a massive Helltide nerf of Mysterious Chest now costing 250 cinders instead of 175. Every class had their cooldown reduction stat nerfed by about 30%. And additionally, we had crit damage nerfed by 17%. I'll show you where that's listed here. Right here. Crit damage nerfed by 17%. And vulnerability damage was nerfed by 40% as well, which is massive for damage on builds. To deal with this trade-off in power, we also had many affixes buffed by 25%, although they probably aren't as big as the offset from crit and vulnerability changed. Jumping into the specific classes, Barbarians saw some pretty massive nerfs. Notably Hamstring, which was a passive skill that applied to slow to bleeding enemies, now only slows healthy enemies, which I think is 80%, I'm pretty sure. This is pretty painful because this affects now the damage you do to crowd-controlled enemies, which is a pretty important affix. The Hammer of the Ancients Quake bug was also nerfed as well. If you're not familiar with this, this is when you slam down your Hammer of the Ancients and the Ripple Quake effect actually did significantly more damage than the actual hammer attack. That was bug fixed, that was nerfed. It probably needed to get fixed, but unfortunately, what this means is our best skill is now even worse. And on top of that, with the cooldown reduction to all skills, it's now going to be harder than ever to have permanent shout uptime on Barbarians. In fact, I think that is long dead at this point. Like I mentioned, it was already incredibly difficult to have permanent uptime. Now it's going to be even more difficult with the cooldown reduction. So I think that perma shout barb is pretty much done for. Necromancers saw their Bone Spike ability nerfed. However, they did see minions get buffed quite a bit. I'll let you read through that later. Rogues, shockingly, got almost no nerfs of any kind other than the cooldown reduction nerf, and actually got quite a few buffs. And then, shockingly, Sorks got crazy nerfed. Not only did they have their damage nerfed, but they also... armor was nerfed across all classes, which Sorks didn't have a lot of armor. In fact, I think there's almost no, or just flat out no armor nodes on their Paragon board. So Sorks were already the squishiest class, now even more squishy with the armor nerfs and also the damage nerfs. So I can't find any reason as a barb why you would play Barbarian, knowing that Nightmare Dungeons are even stronger now. I don't think I mentioned it, but they nerfed damage reduction affixes by up to, in some cases, 25%, total armor 30%. So characters are going to be even squishier now, which makes Barbarian definitely harder to play, but especially a Sorcerer. You're going to have an incredibly difficult time playing a Sorcerer as well. I would be shocked to find anyone who'd be willing to play a Sorcerer this upcoming season. However, I will say Rogue seems fairly strong, Necromancer seems decent, and Druid might still be fairly strong as well. Lots of nerfs across the board and not too interesting of buffs for these classes in Diablo 4. So having said that, that's what we found in this patch. Are you excited for it? Are you going to be sitting out Season 1, or are you going to be jumping in on Thursday afternoon? Let me know, and I'll catch you later. See ya.